Okay, good afternoon to Marvin and everybody else at Southwest Meteorite Industries. I have quite an interesting story for you. Um, I'm just your average Joe. Well, not really. I'm a bit smarter than your average Joe, I guess, in most sense. Um, but this right here is a little bit out of my reach. Now, I've always wanted to get into this. I am a quantum physicist and, quantum physicist and electrical and mechanical engineer. Um, but I never really had a place to go. Um, and one day, I was out with my girl and we were hunting arrowheads right down the road here, about 150 yards from the house. And I stumbled upon a palisite, and I didn't know what it was, and it had a bunch of gems sticking out of it and everything. And come to find out, there was an impact here, it seems, because this what you're seeing right here, and all those buckets have them in there. I just had to dump. They got water in them, and this is just scratching the surface. I've got more inside that I'll show you. As far as big ones like that one, that's about the size of a beach ball. There's probably 8 or 9 of those. I've got 2 that are the size of a couple of briefcases, and one that, well, the only thing I can do to explain it is it's the size of a Harley Davidson, or bigger. It weighs at least 4 or 5 tons. So naturally, I couldn't move it, so I buried it back where I found it and just covered it up, and I know where it is. A lot of these, like as you can see, some of them still have a bit of the fusion crust on the outside, but like they're eroded a pretty good bit. And these suckers have, there's one when I got it out of the ground, it kind of cracked with me. And there's the inside. Set that back up there. There's a pretty good sized one underneath that one over there, that big guy. These are all around 20-25 pounds or so. This pile actually goes kind of deep under the leaves. Then, there's these ones I've got in these buckets here. Down in that bucket, and that other bucket over here is the same way. And this is the newest one I just found. Right here. All these little nodules are ovoline crystals. Large ovoline crystals. And it goes all the way around this sucker. And this thing weighs about 120 pounds. It's the biggest one I've been able to get out of there so far by myself. And it's quite amazing. I didn't know anything about these things 4 months ago. And now I'm finding them every time. All I gotta do is get out of the car and look down, and there's a meteorite. I've got around 10 places that are my little honey holes around here. And it's good to know everybody around here. That way you can get into property without any issues. It's a lot of fun. But the main thing is, financials. What isn't? And around here, I'm disabled. I can't have back issues and stuff like that, and I can't really do much anymore. So I'm trying to find supplemental areas, and it just so happens this fell in my lap right here. Praise Jeebus. I've been trying for months to get this stuff out there. I do have this guy in the Carolinas, not the Carolinas, I'm sorry, Pittsburgh, close to Pittsburgh. He used to work with NASA and did the work on the Leonid crater in 2000, 2001. We ran into a roadblock. So he bought some stuff from me from eBay, and I sent him some extra stuff. And he was going to send it to his friend in NASA. Well, he gets a letter back and the samples back saying they no longer accept unsolicited material for legal reasons and some other reason. And I grew up in Titusville. I was at the Space Center every other week on the weekends. I went to space camp for 6 years. I'm a bit of a nerd. That actually hurt a little bit, because what I've found here is so, they're part of their scientific mandate is research into the formation of our solar system and the pre-solar system. Well, you can't do that without those. And if they don't accept those from me, that means they don't accept anything from anybody. Now, far be it from me to say, but that's a bit ignorant and a bit short-sighted as far as, well, we know everything, but I guess it goes with the human God complex, huh? But I really need some help, and I'm trying to sell these. Some of them, most of them, well, let's face it, everything has a price tag. I have a few inside that I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to make 2 videos here and stitch them together. Here's a good part of that one. Nice Ovalene and diamonds. I did test these. The Ovalene and diamond have been tested, hardness and UV. These diamonds, they glow a bright neon blue. And as you know, diamonds are the only thing in nature that glow a bright neon blue under UV light, well, UV 64 light. It's quite impressive, actually. And these things, there was so much here, and you know, the Indian population, which out west, I'm sure you're well aware of a lot of the mystique in Indian culture. They revere meteorites as sacred, gift from the gods or what have you. But they were used a lot. And you're going to see some examples of some artifacts that I've found that show that they actually used to work this stuff and make, I don't want to say altars or anything like that, but apogées to the sky gods. And I'm pretty sure I know the story about what happened here. Because where we found those, where we and my girl were hunting, there was an Indian settlement there. There is, all you got to do is just get on your hands and knees and crawl around, and you find diamonds and Ovalene everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. They were working this site for a very long time. Found meteorites that were worked into the shape of an arrowhead. I've got about half a dozen of those. And that's just, this is the southern end of it too. I haven't found much in the way going south of us from here. Florida is about an hour and a half that way. What I found was down there, about a quarter of a mile. And the strewn field actually goes from a city called Andalusia, which is about 20 miles that way. Because I found some pieces in a friend of mine's driveway, actually, that were from this very same material, from the same meteorite. So I know the strewn field goes at least 17 miles that way. And this way is a town called Gant. It's about 14 miles away, 14, 15 miles. I found pieces there, smaller pieces, in the ditch on dirt roads. North of us, about 7 miles from here, seems to be the heart of it. That's where the main mass hit. That's where the big ones, that one came from, and that one came from, and all these larger ones came from. And there's still a lot more there. It's so much that I haven't been able to do it all. And I probably won't. I would love to, I don't know, maybe start a business to teach people how to hunt meteorites, because they're so abundant right through here. And I'm not exactly sure why, honestly, because it can't be from just this one impact. I'm thinking something along the lines of, it's just the luck of the draw and the way the electromagnetic field of the earth has been wound up right now, because, you know, things are shifting around and things are doing their cyclic thing. But I'm thinking there is a guiding force, almost like the poles guiding particles to create the auroras. As long as there's some magnetics and some interaction, you can pull a meteorite a little bit. And I think over time, this particular area coming up through the Gulf and here, it just happens to be Meteorite Alley. There's a tornado alley, why not a meteorite alley, right? So here we go. This is scratching the surface. This is literally maybe 4 hours of hunting on several different occasions. About 15, 20 minutes where I go, and that's all the time normally that I'd have to spend, but I walk out of there with a 5-gallon bucket full in that amount of time. No digging, no metal detector, no nothing. Yeah, I had no idea what I was looking for, and now I find them everywhere. This one, I like this one, though, but I've got some inside that are rather interesting. I know that I have pallasites. I think that's pretty much what these bigger ones are, and they're all pallasites. Except I do have a couple of chondrites, and two others that I know are the rarity level of a unicorn. They're solid black all the way through. Even in the unexposed material, it's solid black. One of them has an opaque pink gem sticking out of it, like a rose-colored pink gem. Then there's one that I've only seen in a collection by the guy Robert Ward, who currently has the largest collection publicly in the United States. Well, Marvin, if you know him, I've been trying to get up with him. And I know amongst competitive little circles like these, and my thing's bigger than your thing. No, boo, boo. My collection's bigger than yours. I have 4,587 pieces. His collection is somewhere around $3,000, if I remember right. Maybe that'll get his attention. I don't know. But I would love to meet him, because I would also like to compare one of his to mine. He went to Africa to find this one. They're so loosely put together that normally when they hit the ground, there's nothing left. Or they don't even hit the ground at all. I cannot remember what it's called. I saw it on a show that had him as a guest, and they went and looked at his collection and everything else, and he showed us that one. And at first, I wasn't even sure it was a meteorite, but something told me that it was something special. So I kept it safe, and I put it off to the side because it was very, very fragile. There were two pieces about the size of pineapples, but I went to pick one of them up, and it literally crumbled apart into nothing. This was the only piece I could get out intact. It's about the size of a pineapple grenade, maybe a little bit twice the size of a pineapple grenade. I'll show it to you when we get inside. This is out of my billowink, guys. I find this stuff fascinating. As a physicist on the quantum side of it, these days are my days to shine. I have a master's in quantum physics, and I don't have a job in quantum physics anymore. I used to work for the Department of Defense, but things be things, and it is what it is. We all have our own theories about how everything happened and how it all went together. This is just a small piece of it. And I'm proud to have been able to find a small piece of our past. Well, a lot of small pieces. And I'm proud to the fact that they're worth enough money to straighten things out for my parents. It's been a long road, and they've given so much to me, and it's my turn. And I need to come through on this one. Any help you can give me would be great. I would love for you guys to come, and I'll take you to my honey holes, show you guys around. All the information that I have on the settlement that was here, the artifacts that I have. Oh, and I also have impact glass. It's some pretty cool stuff. I haven't found very much of it, but I know there's more of it in the one area, in the main hot area. But you can tell a long time ago there was some geological upheave here, because there's some hills going towards a town that way, about northeast, called Brantley, that are 30 degrees steep, and they're a quarter of a mile high, and it's like ripples that just like this. And it's the only place around. There is stuff like that around, but it's not as dramatic, and it just happens to be where a lot of these come from. So I'm imagining it's part of the ground deformation. But I will pick the video back up when I get inside and finish the tour. Okay, now we're back inside in my dungeon. This is another. This is a majority of everything that I would call, well, this is just the good stuff. That's basically all you can say. Got some really neat looking pieces up in here. This is a 20-pound piece right here. This is one of the pieces that was worked by this local Indian village a long time ago. You can tell it was like part of almost like a box or something maybe, and this was a part of the relief that went cut into the center of the stone, and something probably sat in it, because I mean, you know, nature doesn't do 90s. Not very often anyway. It does polygons, but it doesn't do 90s. This, you see the little shiny specks in it? This one is highly magnetic. I think it was part of one of those homage shrines or whatever you want to call it to the sky people, and it was destroyed when you know, the white man came through here. But this is a really cool piece that I know was worked by hand. And this one back here, this is a 10-pounder. Some of the fusion crust still on it. Got pieces all up in there. These are orienteds in this one. Let's see. Stuff that's noteworthy to talk about here. Oh, yes. I do have some pieces, and this is before I get over to the actual desk area, which has got everything that's, you know, don't touch. But these up here are on the bit of a different kind of, these were found in one area. There are a bunch more in the area, and these two pieces I know are unique. This one and this one, as in there is no scorch marks on these at all. If you look in the light, they did not get exposed to heat, so they are not chemically altered due to heat coming into the atmosphere, which is great for scientific reasons and chemical analysis. It gives you the closest thing you can get to this thing actually orbiting around in our solar system, which I know means dollars. And these, I mean, it doesn't get any prettier than that. Well, it does. I got one that's prettier than this. Down here is mainly, this is the intake area. Well, most of the intake area. I went out yesterday and found these along with that real big one outside. These two boxes right here are all of the highly magnetic ones. The ones that if you throw it past a magnet, it's going to veer and stick. These I just haven't cleaned. More box of uncleaned ones here. As you can see, most everything I have is pallasites, and they're all from what I can tell are the same mass. And there are a lot of thin ones like this, and I know that common sense would tell you that they're built in layers, and all of these flatter pieces have curves to them. Like you can see, that's got a curve to it. All the smaller pieces have curves to them. Another setup. These right here I've separated it because they have a larger number of diamond and ovalene crystals that are pea-sized and smaller, but they're all on the surface. A majority of are on the surface. I know it's hard to see in these, but you can see where some of them are in there. I do have some pieces that I'll show you here in a minute that you can really get a good example of what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've probably seen this before, as far as diamonds and gems sticking out of these things. Now, I want to assure you that all of these that I have loose stones for and such have been hardness tested and UV tested for authenticity as far as the type of stone they are. Now we get into the good stuff. Well, all of it's good stuff, but you know what I mean. Some of these are just purely amazing. I mean, that's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I found there's a reason why. I found the reason for this one's demise in the upper atmosphere, but here's the reason why. Here's the start of it right here. Starts right there, comes out there. There's a hole all the way through. I think you can probably see. Yep, you see light through it. This one's got the same hole. Starts right there, right there. And that's just another really cool piece. Lots of gemstones on the surface. That one starts right there. I haven't cleaned this one all the way out yet. And you can see through that one. Now, I'm not sure why. I think it might be a hardening thing that's happening here with the iron in these. When it has that fire channel going through it, what I call it, is how they all have that almost a rail looking feature to them like this. And I find that fascinating. I don't know why, but I do. And right here is in various, this is a stage 1 clean, this is stage 2 clean for the Ovaline and diamonds. And we come around over here. This is one of my favorites for whatever reason. It's one of the first ones I found. And get down here under a different type of light. And as you see, it's just a really neat piece to me. Especially, this is like the third one I found. The first two were, you know, nothing special. They were just, let's see, they were just smaller versions of this guy right here. Just smaller versions. This one was the first one I found that looked like it came from an alien world. This is the one that I'll keep. I'll never get rid of this one. This one's my trophy. And it doesn't do it justice looking at it on this phone, but and with your own eyes, it's a beautiful piece. It really is. And I'm proud that I found it. As far as stuff that's unique, and that's a big Ovaline crystal right there. Let's see. Oh, this one. Now I have to fix this one, and I don't know if it's okay to fix or not, but you see that little gem in there? They're rattling around a little bit. It had loose sand in that hole, and the gem was at the bottom of the sand stuck, you know, to the material. And yeah, I made a boo-boo, and I accidentally touched it, and it fell off. So I was gonna ask your opinion. Would it be, you know, poor taste of me to just simply take a little dab of super glue and glue that little sucker back on there? But yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. And you know, it's got a good crust on the outside. Several just gnarly up looking little pieces. This is a fascinating subject to me. I love this stuff. And like I said, I found these things after I found the first few. Now I find them everywhere, literally. I can find them in town. I'll go to the supermarket and I'll park towards the edge of the parking lot, you know, where there'll be grass and stuff off the edge, and I'll find one or two just laying there. It's like they're just there. Now, what's right here are the examples of some things that I'm curious about, and some things that are real highlights to the site. If you want, I can show you. Well, I'll go ahead and show you a few of the Indian artifacts I've gotten from the area. This is the piece I was talking about outside of that black meteorite. That is a black heavy carbon all the way through, with a pink gem sticking out of it. Ain't that something? It looks more orange in the video, but it is pink. This piece really is neat to me, and the most delicate piece that I have, honestly, right now, is this little guy right here, and these three are the most delicate pieces that I have in my collection. You have to be really careful when you pick these up, or you knock gemstones off of them, and I just knocked it over. How about that? See? But there you go. There's that one. There's this one. This one is the real special one. When I dug it out of the ground, it kind of came up in a clump with some others, and this little piece right here fell off the back of it. It's part of a shell, I guess. Very, very interesting piece. It's just got a lot of character to it. These right here are the pieces of impact glass that I've been able to find. We have a 92% silica sand and clay mixture here, which gives us pretty well clear. If it will work up in the light to see through. Well, you see through the edges kind of on this one, but this was kind of farther away from the heat. This one was a bit closer, as you can see on the bottom. But you can tell that it is impact glass due to the silica sand is still stuck to the glass in some areas. These are just smaller pieces of that right here. This is a piece of shocked ovoline from the impact. Some more. These are diamonds right here, and these are straight diamond. They have been separated, cleaned, and ready to go. A lot of them are crystal clear, and they glow bright blue under UV light. Well, that one that you see that's a little bit green in the center, that one I found yesterday, all by its lonesome. I know it's ovoline, but it was just a place where I could stick it right now. A couple of neat looking little pieces. Now, these are just some orienteds that I wanted to show you, because they had a really nice fusion crust on one side. These right here is the main body of this rare meteorite, the heavy carbon one. I cannot remember its name, but these are all the examples I have of it right now. I can tell from the conglomeration of the materials in these two pieces that these are from the same mass. I don't know about the rest of these, but these are from the same mass. And this stuff is solid black all the way through, except for this one little red patch on the outside right here. And they're all both like that. And this is a solid black material all the way through. Very interesting to me. And they're very light. They're very, very light. Now, the melt on the outside of this thing, when you get that initial impact on the atmosphere, and it turns the outside of that sucker into some molten red stuff, this was part of that. You can see a teardrop blow off from a grain of sand or something that blew off the side as it was coming in. Another piece of it. And this is right from that side terminator edge where it peeled the front of it off, and that's the edge of the peel. I thought that was really, really cool. Really cool piece. And same deal. There's another one of the black material. But these, I'm curious on these. And here's another piece of the outer layer. And if you look close, right down in this crack. Oh, look, there's a shiny. Right down in the middle. Ain't that something? I thought that was really cool. Now for the piece de la resistance. This is the one that, well, as far as I know, Robert Ward is the only person in the continental United States that even has a piece of this stuff in his collection. So, here it is. I cannot remember what it's called. But Robert Ward has a piece just like this, but it's a little bit bigger, in his collection. And there were more pieces of this that were about twice this size, maybe 3 times the size of this one. But like I said, when I tried to remove them, I either didn't know what I was doing, which is probably the case, or they were just so weak and fragmented from the impact that they just fell apart as I was trying to pick them up. I'm really proud of this one. I mean, well, everything has a price tag, but I know how rare this stuff is, and I don't know if I'd want to sell it. I mean, granted, you know, if the money's right, yeah, okay, I'd sell you my kid, but, well, I wouldn't do that, but shh, she doesn't know that, though. And for the last little part of this is the second day I went looking after I figured out what I had. And this piece is really unique in one simple fact. It has a diamond right on the edge, just sitting there staring at you. Ain't that something? Now, I don't happen to have, I have no clue really what all of this stuff is kind of worth, but I know stuff like this goes for a premium, and things like these right here. Now, I know that this type of meteorite is fairly rare and therefore expensive. I'm not exactly sure what the values of all these things are. You know, it's not something that I do. If you want to know the value of electronics going back into the 70s and stuff like that, and the rarity of it, I can do that. But this kind of stuff is not as easy for me. And I do have, there's the palisade, this style that I have, a lot of. This is all pretty much one main mass, I believe. Then there are those black pieces, that real delicate piece. And I'm looking, where'd they go? I want to say I set them off separate from everything else, but they have a really fine, real fine grain to them. They're the same, more or less, material as these, but here's one. It's a lot finer. It's really small particles versus, I would call these, you know, like, say, microparticles, maybe a couple of microns across, versus this other material that most of the substrate in it is, or the conglomerate of materials is, say, 4, 5, 6 microns on average. This is some really small stuff, dense material. There's another one that has the hole all the way through it. Piece with got some fusion crust on it. And all of these are magnetic. Here's a nice one. But even this piece right here will not stick to a magnet. It just won't. It'll affect it. If you hang it from a string and pull it by it, it'll pull it a little bit. But that's about it. And I know that a good rule of thumb is If it sticks to a magnet, there's your sign. But I just I'm not getting that on a majority of what I have here, and I know that it's a rare thing for that, but it is what it is. And as I'm sure you can see, like these pieces, and I do have all that's ovaline, shocked ovaline, diamonds, all that stuff in there. I can't believe I almost forgot about this one. All right, this one is so special that it's to me, it is the hands down proof of what I found, that this is an impact, and I'm not either going crazy due to whatever's in the food these days, but I've actually found something here that's noteworthy, and this has to have been an impact, this main mass, at least 20,000 years ago or more, when this area was still an inland sea. Because there's a lot of pieces that I have actually that are water rolled. They've been polished in water, but not like the normal stream type stuff. It's different. But this is the prize of the collection, as far as proving to myself at least what I have. So here we go. These two pieces, nothing special to them actually, individually. They are pretty cool pieces though. But here's the thing. This piece right here was found 200 yards down the road. This piece was found almost 7 miles from here. 7 miles in the main part of the honey hole. They are pretty cool. They got some really neat little flashing and a burn hole that was going through, but it didn't make it all the way through. Or if it did, it got stopped. But here's the thing. Try and do this with my... Alright, we got these two pieces. They fit together. They were one piece. And they lock. Once you get them locked in, they're there. It doesn't go anywhere. But you got to get it locked in. Two pieces found 7 miles apart that fit together. Now, how lucky is that? How great is that as far as proving what I've got here? Ain't that something? I've been trying to find the rest of the channel, but there's so much of it out there, and I find another piece of it every time I go to this particular spot. I've only been there about 4 or 5 times, and I find a piece every time I go down there. But these, to me, are the really special pieces, and what's down here. Now, Indian stuff. Don't we love Indians? Let me see. Let me find. Here we go. And I'm actually Choctaw Indian with Celtic Viking. That's not an Indian piece. That's not. Alright, now, a lot of these pieces were like this is actually a piece that they used for breaking off, and so is this one for breaking chips off of flint and chert. Now, we get down further in here. Here's a knife blade, broken knife blade, arrowhead, broken spear point. Now, these alone and all that aren't really, that magnificent. It's the fact that I've got cutters that fit in the palm of your hand. I've got, outside, I have some of their anvil pieces. Like, this was part of an anvil piece. here is the broken tip of a skinning blade. Would sit in your, well, the people that they were right-handed. I'm trying to do this with my left hand, so you know it goes in your hand like this. My mom has all of the pottery that I found, I believe. I don't know if there's a piece of it in here or not. I gave it to her for safekeeping, since pottery is just so fragile. But we have found black pottery and red pottery in this location. And my girl actually has the biggest piece of pottery that we have found so far, and it has carving, carving reliefs on it and design work on it and stuff like that. These are a lot of the pieces chipped off right here, and in this particular area where I found a lot of this chipped flint is where I found the pieces that were carved into looking like arrowheads. Let me get the best. There's some of, let's see, here's one of them. You take that, look like arrowhead. Here's one. And I believe these arrowheads were put inside their carved reliefs as a prayer or an offering of some form. This one I like the best. I mean, that right there tells you nature doesn't do things like nature does not copy human beings. But there it is. Proof the Indians would carve meteorites into, I don't want to say religious, but sacred objects. And these truly are sacred objects. They have so much of a story to tell. You just got to know how to listen. And I don't have the equipment specialized enough to do the listening. There's another. I thought that piece was pretty cool. But I do have several pieces that were this fully melted iron that looked like it just blew off the front of this thing. And I mean, they're fractured. There's some interesting looking stuff. No, let me see. It might be in here. No, they're not in here. Come on. Maybe this one then. Yeah, no, not in there. Anywho, I have some that are. I'll find them eventually. Maybe I'll have them in case if you come this way, I'll have more stuff out that is. Actually, I believe they might be down here. Yeah, here we go. Like, okay, here's a section of the fully melted piece. I liked it because it was a transitional area at the edge of the meteorite where you have the granular material here and a full melted material on the other side. Quite interesting. And this is the piece that I'm talking about. This was a leading edge where the heat was the best, and this was what happens after it exploded. You can tell it's shrapnel. It's turned it into shrapnel basically. And a lot of these pieces. There's another of the edge that peeled. It's just a lot of really. I mean, I don't want to waste any more of your time right now, but I hope you've enjoyed looking at these as much as I've enjoyed showing them to you. I love that I've finally been able to get into this, and I'm really thinking because of the area that I'm in right now. You know, I don't know why. Like I said, why there's so much here, but it's everywhere. About a 50 square mile area is just. I don't know if it's I've been blessed by Jeebus and to finding these things as soon as I get out of the car and look down, there they are. I don't know, but that's the way it is. I've been wanting to bring some people that have always wanted to do this and that has never had the chance, didn't know an area or whatever. Let them come in, let them find something because of how easy it is to find any pieces, and it doesn't require a whole lot of effort. And you know how lazy people are these days. But I would love for you guys to come out and let me show you around, see what you think, check out the geology of the area, the way things are laid out. I've done as much research as I can for southeastern United States as far as registered impacts and stuff like that. And I know that there's nothing that has the olivine that I have, especially that large piece I found yesterday with those grape-sized olivine crystals in it. The only where that I know of that's got olivine that size is Fukang. So this might be the first and primo location for large pallasites with olivine crystals in the continental United States. And I know that this impact is not registered at all. No one even knows that it's here. And it is a large, it was a large impact. It was big, okay? When you release enough energy to create impact glass, but I'm pretty sure this thing hit in the water. Right here, about 20 to 25,000 years ago, we would have been under about 200 or 300 foot of water. I do have, oh yeah, these are some of the fossils that I found dating from back in that time. A fish, part of a fish. You see the layering on the inside. His bottom fin. His tail's right here. This I'm pretty sure was some form of sea snail or something like that, with a spiral style shell. And this I'm not sure what it is. It is a fossil, but see that pattern? I don't know if it's some form of starfish or, because it's not a sand dollar. I know it's not a sand dollar. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I want to say it's some form of starfish, early starfish. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, that about covers the today's journey on reading Rainbow. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? Pretty as a damn picture, huh? So I'd love to hear from you guys. I really would. I don't know what to do with all this stuff, and I'm trying to get it out on eBay, which I know is the worst possible thing to do with this stuff, especially since it's not classified. You know, I'm getting pennies on the dollar for what it is. I'm just trying to get some pieces of it out there. I've looked all over the internet. I've seen stuff that is similar to this, but nothing that is definitive for me as your everyday guy that doesn't have an education in this stuff to be like, that's my girl. I know that, and I'm not blind enough to make those assumptions. All I know is that I have pallasites, I have ovoline, I have diamonds, I do have chondrites, I do have carbon-rich pieces, like uber carbon-rich. I do have the special little guy right there that I'm pretty sure is going to make Robert Ward jump up and down and giggle. And really, if you do know the guy, I've been trying to get in touch with him. I wanted to come and see what I've got and look at the area. So, Robert Ward, if you watch this, I'm sorry, but I just got to say, na boo boo, my collection's bigger than yours. If yours is still 3,000 pieces or so, I'm approaching 5,000 pieces at this point. And I still haven't counted everything I have. I haven't even counted those yet. And that's probably 400 or 500 pieces in there, or more. But I would like to talk to some people. I need to get some of this stuff sold. I can't keep it all. I don't want to keep it all. It would be greedy of me if I did. And while it is in our nature to be greedy, I am a scientist above all else. So, to the advancement of everything that we know and will know and would like to know, any help in this matter would be greatly appreciated. I will add more videos to this channel soon that will be broadcasted from the locations that I get these from, so you can actually see some of this stuff in action. Well, it's a rock, it lays there. We'll see it lay there, and then we'll see if it runs from us when we go to pick it up. All this extra noise that you've been hearing is coming from that. These are my toys. You know, when you get older, you got bigger toys. They cost more. And mine are much bigger, but they cost more. And what I like to do is take old stuff, refurbish it, redo it, design it my way, the way it should have been, and see if I can get better results with it. That right there is just my little laser toy. I know that's child stuff right there, but they're fun. With this little guy right here, I had to redo all the wiring. Antminer, you know, Bitmain was I'm sorry, but corporate engineering is the most god-awful thing I've ever seen. These things would overheat to the point you touch it, you don't want to touch it. It'll burn you. Like verge of catching fire, just under normal operating, no overclocking or anything, and forced air, cooled air induction on it. But there's two LTC machines, L3s, a Z11, and some S9s that I've heavily modified physically and by their software. So that's what that noise is. I really look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope this is the start of something that is just going to be really cool for all of us. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.